Hang the daggum banner.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie Five.
So we're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. NIT Champions, hang the banner. How much fun was that last night? It was a whole season's worth in one game. So much fun as Auburn caps off a 5-game winning streak and wins the NIT Championship. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the season as a whole. And we got some pretty good news from, I would say, a pretty important player that we're going to discuss about potentially returning next year. Look at that core and what they could become. And then obviously we're going to turn our attention to portal season, baby. The portal opens tomorrow, and it's vital for year 2 for Stephen Pearl. But let's jump right into it. There were so many people. Look, and I totally get it. I was on the fence. I leaned more towards it made sense than didn't make sense, but there were a lot of people that just didn't think that this NIT bid, accepting it, making this run would be worth it. Now, again, I totally understand where you're coming from. But I hope after last night, at least from a lot of the people that I talked to, a lot of the stuff I saw on social media, message board, a lot of people came around on this run to see that it was the right thing to do. It was the best thing for a multitude of reasons. It was great to, take a step back from the number 1 rated schedule in the country and play some teams that you feel like you could sort of impose your will on. And there were a couple that they did, even though it wasn't like Auburn was just huge double-digit favorites in every game. It was just a chance to sort of get the bad taste out of your mouth about the way the season ended. And they did that. They went in when people made fun of them, people, including Auburn fans. There was very little hype whatsoever. They went in, they handled business, and they won 5 in a row. You get to finish your season, a very disappointing season, but you get to finish it with a win. And only 2 teams really, I guess, get to do that. The winner of the NCAA championship and then obviously the winner of the NIT. I guess there is that new one, the college basketball crown, that nobody, I think, was a great idea, but nobody really watches or cares about. It's just good stuff, man. And I think even the most ardent detractors, even the most negative, had fun. I think y'all had fun. I think there was probably a period last night where we're ready to fire everybody and start over again. But for the most part, the run was pretty fun. I looked forward to it. I'll tell you this. We do the Barncast Live throughout we did the Barncast Live throughout basketball season. Every single basketball game, we went live. We live streamed it. Those last 5 games were the best audiences we had all year. So kudos to those guys for locking in. It was just it was a lot of fun, and I'm kind of sad it's over, if I'm being honest. Steven needed this. The team needed this. This was sort of like a healing moment. There's so many narratives, I feel like, that were dispelled as well over these last 5 games. They don't like playing for Steven. Okay, well, if that's the case, then, boy, they just really wanted to win the NIT. Boy, they really just wanted to defend like crazy for those last 5 seconds to create that 5-second violation to give Overton the shot to tie the game to go to overtime. It must have just been a bunch of leaders, just team motivated, if that's the case. it just, again, so many things positive here. And it really kind of gets me fired up for like what could be. And we're going to talk about a lot of what could be. But I kind of want to stick on this for a minute because how we got here to Stephen Pearl does not matter anymore. If you're still hung up on that, nobody's listening anymore. You're just wasting your breath. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. How we got there does not matter anymore. The only thing that matters now is Stephen Pearl's the coach. He just won, 22 games, finished and got his team up to win a championship, even shorthanded. I thought the officiating last night was putrid. Lost two of your best players, had to go in overtime without any size whatsoever. And not to mention the previous, the previous 4 games. Got the team up and got it done. He's your guy. We're not making a change. They're not going to fire him. They're not looking for anybody else. He's going to bring back a lot of this staff. They're going to run it back. We've already talked about, again, we're going to go into it in detail, but you've already got your big man locked in for the next season. That's it. That's who it is. So you can either get on the train or you can, do what you do. Doesn't matter anymore. Nobody cares to hear your theory about how the hire went down. Okay. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy to have a change that close to the season starting on the first day of practice. It was crazy how, everything went down, but it is what it is. It's over. We're moving forward. We won we won the oldest college basketball tournament in history. And that is a fact, by the way. You can look that up. The NIT started the year before the NCAA tournament in, I think, 1938. So that would make it, for a lot of people would say that's more prestigious as well. So who knows? The tournament you may want to win is the NIT. If you really poll basketball people, they may cherish the NIT more than the actual NCAA tournament. Obviously, I'm joking. I'm having fun with it. I'm curious to know where the banner goes. Surely, you got to hang one. It's a big achievement. It's the first time I think a team from Alabama's won the NIT. I think they've played several teams have played in it. Alabama's played in it several times. UAB's played in it. I think Auburn's the first to win it. So I'm happy. I know basketball shows aren't super popular as far as daily podcasts, but man, you got to show these guys some love. And if you want to be good at basketball, you got to talk basketball. You even got to do it on YouTube. You even got to do it on a podcast. You don't just get to just sit back and reap the rewards. Nah, man, you got to get down in the mines and dig. It was fun last night. Let me know what y'all's favorite moment of the season was. Boy, ups and downs. There were some great wins, and this team played a lot like the team did at the beginning of the season. And they just found ways to win. Even if it wasn't pretty, scored a pile of points. Offensively looked pretty dang good. You score 92, 88, 91, 75, 78. It's pretty good offensively. So good stuff. They dug in. They got it done. I want to talk about a report from last night about a potential player that could be on the fence. Hey, he's putting it out there. He's locked in. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to Precision Tune Auto Care, where car care meets hospitality. It's not about unloading on you on the first visit, trying to get as much out of you as possible, air filters, belts, and all that fluids and everything, just trying to throw everything at you the first visit. It's not about that. It's about visit 2 through 10. Okay. We want to create a relationship. They want you coming back. They want you trusting them with your vehicle. And hey, they got my trust. So show them some love. It's Precision Tune Auto Care in Opelika off of Pepperell Parkway. And Veterans, Again, if you want to, if something's going on with your car and you want to take it to somebody you trust, these are your guys. And also want to give a shout out to Rhoback.com. Use coupon code BARN20 to take 20% off your order. Polos, pullovers, hoodies, doesn't matter. They got you covered. They even have Auburn licensed apparel as well. I got my new Auburn polo that dropped. It's pretty sweet. It's got the AUs and then a little eagle on it and a little pattern. Check them out. Show them some love. Save big. It's Rhoback.com. We'll be back right after this. Shout out to Justin Hokanson from On3, who was boots on the ground interviewing guys after the game. But I think the biggest news was, again, you can only take this I think you can only take this with a grain of salt right now. But he said it. Elijah Freeman, I think he was a guy that everybody would be excited about, but we joked about on the Barncast a lot that every shot he made, he got more expensive. Every game he played, he probably got a little bit more expensive, and I feel like he's going to be hot in the market. He's a young guy. He has a lot of basketball left. He is supremely athletically gifted. I mean, he is just an unbelievable athlete, and he only has scratched the surface on his potential. So those type guys where it's not like the guys that you can bring in and it's a one and done, like obviously they're no-brainers, but guys that can probably give you at least 2 years, maybe even more valuable, and guys that have the potential to make a leap like Elijah Freeman do are just so incredibly valuable. So you're somewhat concerned about can you afford to battle for him? They asked him about his intentions last night. He says he's locked in. This was his first time playing high major basketball, and there were some growing pains, but he's locked in and he's ready to run it back and do it again. Now, the portal opens tomorrow, and I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of, let's say, there's going to be a lot of phone calls, DMs, and things like that to get him to take a look, to take a listen. So we'll see if that's actually the case, if he is locked in. But I think if he is, like he says he is, that's a huge, huge boost for Auburn next year as far as having that core of guys that are bought in that'll come back and give it another go. They got a little taste in their mouth and they're ready to come back and give it a go. There's nobody that could make a bigger jump from year to year, in my opinion, of those guys than Elijah Freeman, and that includes Todd Pettiford. There's nobody that has his measurables, that is as gifted as he is physically, that could make a bigger jump. Like you're talking, he has SEC Player of the Year type athletic ability. He has SEC Player of the Year type potential in his skill set. So if that's true, getting him locked in, getting him back, you just brought in your new GM. Maybe they've already had some conversations. Maybe they've already created that relationship. If that's the case, huge win for Auburn. Huge win for Stephen Pearl going into year 2. I think Kevin Overton has to be your most important player to bring back. And I think the confidence is extremely high that that's the case. The shot he made last night under the gun, man, when Auburn's, we've wanted that for so long. We want that shooter, and he came absolutely alive in the NIT. 18 points a game, shot over 50% from three. One of the threes he made last night was from, if they actually had a big center court logo, it would have been from the logo. It was so deep. He was 5 of 8 last night. He was 5 of 5 against Illinois State. He had one off game, and that was against Nevada, where he only scored 7 points. All the other games, he just lit it up, particularly from three. Plays good defense. He's a leader. He's a dog. Great from the free throw line. Like, he's everything you can ask for. And he's 6'5". Perfect guard in this system. It's perfect two guard for this system. Exactly what Stephen Pearl wants. You got to bring Kevin Overton back. Do whatever it takes. What a steal he was. What an absolute steal he was. Great job, Bruce. Great job, whoever, evaluating him and getting him in, and you get one more year with him. Unbelievable. Jovic, another one that's really started to come along. I think the most confident guys the most confident confidence you have in guys returning has to be Kevin Overton and Philip Jovic. He was a bully a lot of times down the stretch, especially in these last 5 games. That was really good to get him even more acclimated with what he can be. Another year, another chance to compete at this level. I think he's another guy that's just going to refine his skills and get better. He was playing out of position a lot this year. I think now with the addition of a true big man, he can play a more traditional power forward role, which is what he really is. And that's only going to make him better. Instead of asking him to do things that he's not really built to do. He made some fun plays. He had a couple of big dunks last night. Obviously, we have the joke of the very European fundamentals. Immediately goes back to the basket like he's Tim Duncan. He's fun, man. But he's got the athleticism he's run a couple of breaks and finished. He's a good one. Good one to have. Feel really good about him coming back. Sway would be one that I think you're on the fence with. And I love Sway, and I love his effort. His offensive game has a lot of work to go. He's got a lot of work to do in that particular category. And the thing with him is, and I want to make sure that I say this the most politically correct way, there's a lot of Sways available. Okay? So if you know where I'm going with this, there's going to be a lot of Sways out there that you could possibly get. So the price has got to be right. I don't think that's one that you necessarily at any cost you get locked in. If you understand what I'm saying. To me, and then the biggest storyline, and I think, will be what happens with Tahad. Sorry about that. My power just went out literally while we're recording. But like I was saying, there's a lot of things that went on early in this offseason. Okay, a lot of things around Tahad. Will he be the focus of the offense? Will we run everything through him? And then you bring in Keyshawn Hall, and then Bruce leaves. And then the offense doesn't really go through Tahad. It kind of goes through Hall. Like, there was just a lot of things that I think soured maybe Tahad's side on Auburn, and honestly, unfortunately, soured Auburn a little bit on Tahad. So maybe that relationship has been rekindled over the last several weeks, and we'll see. We'll see. It's all about, does Tahad want to play for Stephen Pearl? And then do you go into another year with him being your starting point guard? And then that has how we kind of transition into portal season, because the portal opens tomorrow. I know your big French big guy, Narcisse Noy, is not necessarily a portal guy, but it is going to be portal season. So Auburn's going to be looking to bring in some shooters. Depending on what you lose will also depend on who you bring in. If you lose, if Freeman's not locked in and he goes elsewhere, you got to be able to replace him. I think you got to be able to bring in some help at point guard anyway, even if Tahad does come back, and maybe even find a true point guard and Tahad can slide over and, play at the 2, and then maybe Overton goes to wing. Like, there's a lot of different options that you could run through, but it's portal season now. It's time for Steven to get a chance to build his own team, to build the team that he wants, to build the team that fits the style that he wants to run. And it'll be fun to watch. I think it's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. And again, it opens up tomorrow. So let's see what happens. Guys, enjoy this one. Have fun with it. Lean into it, man. Don't be embarrassed. Lean into it. It's a banner. Hang the banner. An Auburn basketball fan should not ever turn their nose up to an NIT championship, regardless of expectations being raised, all that good stuff. Understand where you came from, understand where you're going, and this is a good stepping stone. Guys, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think. We'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.